I've been Dutch braiding since I was 12 years old, and it's become my go-to style for everything. This video is an in-depth look at everything you need to know to do your own Dutch braids. I'll be showing the best tools and products, techniques, and what not to do. Let me know if this works for you and what other tutorials you'd like to see in the future in the comments below. I'm starting the video off showing all my braiding essentials, starting with the hair ties. I typically tend to use these medium-sized elastics for thick hair and these smaller rubber bands for smaller braids. I also have this binder clip for hair ties to keep them all in one spot, and it's super helpful. Next is brushes. I use this comb for parting/sectioning hair. I typically use normal bristle brushes for braids and keep a smaller one in my school bag. Now sometimes I don't have my parting brushes on me, so I'll use a pencil to part hair, and personally this works the best. To fix imperfections or bubbles in the braids, I use bobby pins at about a medium length. If I want my braids to be extra smooth and tight, I spray water on the hair beforehand, and spray bottles are perfect for even distribution. Next, when the braids have to last all day and night, I use gel. This one from Tea Tree has lasted me forever and smells so good, and I use this bulk bottle for when I need a lot. To lock everything in place, I use the Tresemme liquid hairspray, which has been a favorite recently. I also use their normal aerosol hairspray with both products in level 4 hold. All of these products I will have linked in the description below, as well as others I like. Before you learn to Dutch braid, you've got to know how to do the 3-strand braid. You start by brushing through the hair and taking 3 even sections. The pattern for the Dutch braid is crossing underneath, while the normal way is usually over top. I'll show both ways in this video so you get the idea. You have 3 sections, right, left, and center. Start by taking the right section and crossing it underneath the center. That strand is now your new center section. I like to use my thumb and first 2 fingers to hold the hair up and tight. You will then take the left section and cross it underneath the new center to make an even newer center. It sounds worse than it actually is, trust me on this one. You will then repeat that process the whole way down, crossing right underneath middle and left underneath middle. Your hand placement is very important. Lots of people will use their full hand and make the braid loose. What you're going to do is use your thumb to hold the pieces you're not really using in place, and your index and middle finger are doing a clamp and twist motion around the strand you are grabbing to make things easier. I'm now going to show the over way, which is what would turn into French braids and plaits. If this confuses you, don't watch and skip ahead to the actual Dutch braid. You use the same technique as the last braid, just instead of crossing right underneath center, you cross over. Same with the left, it's going to go over the center. Very straightforward. Now you're ready to attempt the Dutch braid, but first you have to part the hair. I sectioned based on part, and especially with doll hair, I can't force a center part or it'll look funny. You can use your comb, taking the hook end and going straight down from that original part, or you can be like me and use a pencil, which also works just fine. Take the section you're not using and tie it off tight so it's out of the way. Before starting the braid, I suggest wetting the hair a slight bit. It's about to look real stringy on the doll hair, but bear with me, it's better on real hair. I also like to put gel on the wet hair and let it settle. Gel goes on the hair, not on the part. Comb that all the way through and get ready to start braiding. You are going to section a very small section at the top of your hair, a triangle connecting your part and your hairline. Smooth that all out, and we're going to split it into 3 sections like the normal 3-strand braid that we did earlier. You start by taking the rightmost section and passing it underneath the middle. Then, I take the left section and pass it under that new middle. I'm handing off the hair to my ring finger once I pass it underneath, then repositioning to grab it with my first 2 fingers. What you're going to do next is take some hair, on the right diagonal and add it to the right section you had before. You'll then take that section and pass it under the middle like normal. This is how you start your Dutch braid. You are then going to take a section from the left, starting very small, and combining it with your already made section. You are then going to pass that under your new middle. You are going to repeat this process, adding in hair from the right, and then passing it under the middle, and adding in hair from the left, and also passing that under the middle, all the way down the hair. Try keeping the sections similar in proportion and keep the hair tight as you go down the braid. We don't want it to be becoming baggy as you go. As you go down the braid, you can start adding in larger sections gradually, but be careful not to add in too much hair. When braiding, you want to be in the middle of the hair, not too close to the part line, and definitely not near the hairline. I suggest standing behind the person opposed to standing by their side so that you can get a clear angle going back. Once you get to this part of the braid, I suggest not taking sections at an upward diagonal, but instead taking them from straight across. This is because your braid will start to form in that upwards diagonal motion if that's how you're pulling the hair, causing the end of the braid to be really high up, almost near the ear. That doesn't look as seamless as it would if you were to pull straight across and go straight down to the nape of the neck. Now all you have to do is continue braiding all the way down to the bottom. Once you've reached the end of the braid with one last piece to add, do not add it into one of the right or left sections. Instead, add it into the middle. This prevents the bottom of the hair from bagging up when you start pulling it down and across. As you continue to finish, keep your hands close to the head. I like to sometimes rest my hands on the person's head, not pushing on it though, and keeping everything tight. You are now going to finish braiding just like a normal 3-strand braid that we showed earlier in the video, since there's no hair left to add. Now once you've reached the bottom, finish braiding and tie it off with a hair tie. And now you have learned how to Dutch braid. Now these are common mistakes that I first learned when I was braiding. My first mistake was starting the braid with a huge front section. This caused the braids to look very disproportionate and chunky, and when you're adding in the wrong amount of hair, it just doesn't look right. Sometimes using larger pieces at the beginning are for like more romantic updos, but arguably for a normal Dutch braid, it's not going to look best. Another mistake people will make is going way too close to the hairline when you are braiding. As you can see here, I'm dragging away too far and not keeping my hands tight at all. As I'm going down, you can see that there is a large gap between the part line and the actual braid. This is going to look like a huge lump once you finish, so this is not recommended. Now, once I'm finishing the braid, I just take this last piece of hair and just add it in all randomly without really putting thought into it. You can also see I'm dragging really far away, which is creating a giant bag at the bottom. This is not what we want. You can see all of the mistakes, like the huge beginning compared to the small one that we had in the original braid. Now, all of these mistakes are easily fixable if you just follow the simple steps from before. Now, I'm going to speed up this next mistake, but I'm going to be showing what it looks like when you take upward diagonal sections instead of straight across. I'm starting off the braid pretty normal, still kind of dragging towards the outside instead of down towards the middle, but that can easily be fixed. Now, I'm taking really large sections. You do not want to do this. You want to start small and gradually build your way towards larger sections. Now you can see here, instead of just going straight across, I'm starting to pull a lot of hair in that upwards diagonal, like you can see right there. Now as I go on to finish the braid, you can see here that it is so much higher than the other one, and also creates a little bag at the bottom. This can be fixed by just going straight across instead. Now I'm going to be showing you my preferred method of braiding. This is how I do it every day, no matter what style it is. I've genuinely braided so much hair that it's just become muscle memory at this point, so this is what feels natural for me. You can follow along for this one, and I'll throw in tips here and there as I go. Now here's the reality of this braid. I like this one a lot more than how I originally taught the other one. I feel like I'm taking bigger sections here, but they look a lot better than the sections I took in the first braid that I first taught. This is okay, not all braids are going to be the same. I definitely have my days where I just can't get a simple start. The other day when I was doing Olivia's hair, I spent 30 minutes trying to just perfect the beginning because that is genuinely the hardest part to get. But you just have to keep going and finding what works for you so that you can continue. Now, as I'm tying off this braid, right before I finish, I'm going to start tugging at the hair to make the braid look bigger than it actually is. When you're braiding, you want to keep it very tight, but at the end, I like to pull a lot of hair out so it looks thick and full, and I think it creates a really pretty look. And this braid turned out really good, and I'm glad I did the pulling at the end. You can see the difference here from when I didn't pull versus when I did on the other braids. Overall, both looks are acceptable, and I like both equally. Now I'm going to be showing how to fix random flyaways, bumps, and other mistakes. Starting with these little flyaways, I like to take the liquid hairspray that I showed earlier and drench that hair in all of that hairspray. On doll hair, it's not going to work as well because it is very stubborn and short, but on real hair, all of this should stick down pretty easily and conform with the rest of the braid. I usually just take it, tuck it in, and it's just like new. For larger groups of flyaways, I like to take the normal hairspray and go straight down that part. I then just take my fingers and smooth out the hair as best I can. Now, getting bumps on the side of the hair like this one are more common than you think. And sometimes you don't want to go back and redo the whole braid just to fix that one part. So now I'm going to take this bobby pin that I showed from earlier, these ones are from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to open it up, grab the hair, pull it back, and then pin it under and into the braid. Now you can see it's sticking out the top of the doll hair, but again, it's not good to show on doll hair. It should just stick normally into the braids without popping out like that, unless your person has really thin. You can also go at it from a different angle, going down instead. Now, Dutch braids have become the base for almost every style I do, so the most important thing to me was showing all the steps on how to do it. You can go back and watch the video as many times as you need and braid along with me. Feel free to mute it and play your own tunes. Playing feel-good music is always a suggestion when braiding hair. Thanks for watching. Let me know your questions down below. I'd love to see your work. Tag me on Instagram if you choose to share. And as always, happy braiding.